Hi, welcome to a match versus Jazz FC. He's actually on it's a nonth, and he's on a pretty good run of form actually. He surged right up the table when he's he could easily beat us. So it's going to be a tough match, and we're away. But we do have a fully fit squad, except for one of our player on less than 100% condition, but who would be a backup anyway. And so we're not going to select him. Let's see what happens. Straight away reduce that tempo because just like in our last match versus Athens Owls, we are backing off with, and that can really punish you at the start of a match, particularly if the other team isn't, and it's, especially if they're sort of closing you down a bit, depending on factors, but it can sort of work against you. But at the moment it doesn't seem to be. I mean, we don't obviously know where that slider is for him. Is it in the middle? Is it toned down a bit or whatever? So just have to infer a bit. But my gut feel is that we have those first two early shots, but it's probably not representative of how the whole half is going to go. And indeed, they've since had two shots back, and this is a bit more what I'm expecting. And he's got a lot more possession than us in those last 10 minutes, so this is more in shaping up a bit how I expected it to be. This is probably a match where we've got quite a lead in the title race, so he's probably Jazz along with Neos Cosmos are probably the two teams that could conceivably win the title over us. So actually it is the case that a draw is actually a very acceptable result for us in this match, so we've just got to keep that in mind as well. Apologies if you hear a humming sound in the background. I've got a fan going, it's quite hot here. Not much I can do about that. Right, so we got the goal. And we're outplaying him a bit, and see, we could pause to take stock because we've got the goal, but what we don't want to do is we don't want to prompt him to think to change stuff. We really want to, because we're kind of happy with stuff. We're winning, we've got the upper hand a little bit, it's balanced, maybe us with the upper hand a bit, and we're winning, let's just start closing down a bit, because we don't need this big, we don't need to outplay him that much in the second half. And he's gone short passing, so we don't want to just back up and make it really easy for his team to move the ball around. So we'll close him down a little bit, just to make it, it's not so easy for his team. But we've got the lead, because all we really have to do at this point is obviously not concede a goal, and we'll win. And actually, his team isn't creating a lot. Oh, this could be it. It's another goal, and we're firmly in the driving seat now, I think. So his team isn't creating a lot. We've got a decent chance flow. Even if it was 0-0 now, we'd be very happy, I think. So, and the 2-goal lead, we're just firmly in that driving seat, and it's very much ours to lose at this point. Ways that we could lose is having a player sent off, so we've got to keep that in mind. And this James has got a yellow card. I think we just want to close down a bit more even, and see, I will go more defensive as soon as there's any evidence that we're not outplaying him anymore. And so far it seems maybe that is just really got to keep a close eye on the stats and the commentary, and as soon as there's any real evidence that he might be outplaying us, we will go more defensive. But so far, the evidence that I'm seeing suggests that it's kind of balanced, maybe with us still with the upper hand. So we don't need to change it yet. He's gone direct ball, so closing down is less effective against sort of long ball generally. So just back off a bit, but he doesn't know what we got set between these three settings. So we don't want to. If we back off, he might then move away from direct, and we're kind of okay with him being direct at the moment because his chance flow isn't that great, and we are defending okay. We're just okay basically with stuff. He's just not creating enough at this point to score. Just close down. We're going to close down even more now. He's changed stuff up. It's no longer going long ball. So we're going to press more, and he's made 2 subs and he's got some fresh players, and luckily I've got this pause in now. It might have been slightly too late because he might have scored that goal. So now is the time where if he is going to come back into the match, it is going to be now. We've got some decisions to make. Maybe James, this is the time for him to come off. The reality probably is for us that obviously we should be looking to win this match because we're 2-0 up and we're firmly in control. But even then, if offered a draw right now, we'll look at the league table after and you'll understand why this is the case, but even if offered a draw right now, we'd probably take it actually. So bearing that in mind, I think we will go more defensive. That we wouldn't necessarily be doing this if we needed to win or we wanted to win, but we would totally happily accept a draw, I think, in this match right now. So I think we do go the double sub here. Not go crazily overly defensive here, but just definitely more defensive, more solid, and more defensive, and we'll press and we'll go slow tempo. So we're looking really now to just hopefully hold this lead. We've just done pause. Hopefully we get this change off now without them scoring off that chance. So it seems like we will, and the changes go through now. So we now we still got 1 sub, and actually we can still sort of rearrange stuff to go a bit more attacking if needed, but it doesn't seem like it's needed. But even then, it's not. I mean, I would like to say that it's definitely over, and it probably is. But we've had over the past 1.5 years, basically, if you include beta as well, it definitely is the case that we have come back. I believe once before I've actually come back from 3 goals down to draw, all in injury time at the end of a match before. Once, so. I might just pause to do this chat because I think I've just got an unnecessary. I'll talk about this. So I'll be a bit polite here. Very tight at the top of the table for those top 4 spots. Now, what's happened is we are chatting before and we've made a mistake here, which is that we are winning 3-0 and we only need to draw, and we still have that on aggressive, and that should have been taken down immediately after that 3rd goal was scored, which means that this knock that we've just picked up was probably completely unnecessary, and this might cost us a result in the next match. So big mistake there. When you've got the match won, or when the result is basically decided, the match is won or lost, you should very much be planning for the next match. Now he's got this knock, and I don't even know if it's worth taking him off at this. I mean, probably it's just better to protect another player. It's really important for us, so we'll do that. I mean, despite what I've said, obviously we're pretty. I mean, I'm talking about once that it's happened in 18 months with these 3 goals, but anything's possible, and you should always be doing whatever you can to optimise. But in this case, it is that we just he wasn't. We're just really confident that there just wasn't enough injury time basically for him to score those goals. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with Koku getting injured completely unnecessarily with a knock, which is a bit silly. It leaves us and that, I mean, it sounds a bit trivial, but it shouldn't be underestimated here what impact that could have. I mean, luckily for us, we're in a comfortable league position, and we don't. And our next match isn't a cup match, but it might have been. And very rarely would you be as comfortable as what we are in the league at the moment at this stage of the season. So normally at this stage of the season, you'd be fighting for every single point possible, and this would have been a massive mistake. So definitely, as soon as that 3rd goal went in, that aggressiveness should have come all the way down, because once the result is determined, once you won or lost for that matter, so our opponent in a way should have been the same. Once he's pretty much certain that he just lost this match, he should have been cautious himself. You should really just sort of setting yourself up, preparing for future matches. Now, of course, it might be the case that he didn't want to lose 4 or 5-0, and because the goal difference matters for him. So you've got to factor all these things in. But broadly speaking, you just got to factor it all in. So once the most important thing, generally speaking, in a league match is that you want the 3 points, obviously, or 1 point. Sometimes, though, the goal difference does matter. Rarely, admittingly, compared to not wanting to have players unnecessarily injured or suspended. Generally speaking, that is more important than the goal difference, but in some situations the goal difference can be more important. So broadly speaking, you care less about winning by more or losing by more than you do about protecting players from as much as you can from being injured or suspended. And we didn't do that, and that was a mistake, and we deserved to get an injury or a knock because of that mistake, and we did. So we were punished. Luckily it was just a knock, so it could have been a lot harsher. It could have been a player injured for 5 matches, more even. So and it could have been one of our sort of 2 critical players, or better player. I mean, Koku is one of the better players in our team, but it could have been one of our absolute key players gone. Could have been our goalkeeper, for example. So you just got to play optimally if you want to win competitions. If you can play suboptimally and win a match, like we just did, and you can make mistakes throughout the course of a season and still win the competition. But broadly speaking, you've got to have very good decision making over the course of a whole league season in order to win the league. And I think this season we have done that. I'm criticising myself pretty hard about that mistake, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not the biggest mistake that we just made. But it's important that we identify it. I think this season, though, we've had vast majority of our matches, at the end of the match, I can look at it and I can say there's sort of nothing obvious that I did wrong in them, and I think it's sort of really showing in the league table this season. And then in the cups where we've been knocked out, we've not been online for the matches actually. So I think this season the decision making has been good, maybe the best ever that I've had for a season possibly. So happy with that, and there's the result. So for us and for Jazz, so actually the goal difference does matter. You can see how tight this is, 39, 40, 35, and there's EAFA Nows are in the hunt here as well potentially. They got the worst goal difference and the less points, but they just win 2 or 3 matches in a row, and they'll be right back in there as well. So it is the case that Jazz actually does care about his goal difference, so it probably was the right decision for him to not just take off his best players and sort of keel over there to protect them from injury, because the goal difference was so tight. He didn't want to concede any more goals, and potentially if he pulled one back, it could make all the difference here potentially for where he finishes his season. So it's so tight here, there's a very good chance that 2 of these teams will finish on the same points total. So a measurable chance it could happen. So the goal difference does matter in this case, and in this case it might take priority over the injuries and suspensions. But in our case, no, it didn't. The goal difference doesn't take priority over the injuries and suspensions in our situation. We've got a vastly superior goal difference, and it's more important that we didn't get a key player injured for 5 matches, because that's kind of how we end up dropping the points that we need to drop in order to not win the title. So actually for us it was really a massive mistake. It's a small thing in isolation, but potentially our best player could have been injured for 5 matches and we could have lost them all, and we could have lost the league, all because we didn't take that slider down for the aggressiveness after we'd secured the result with that 3rd goal, especially bearing in mind that we only needed a draw. Then we're never going to score 4 goals. So huge mistake, lucky we got away with it. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you for the next match.